On the night of March 18, 1996, hundreds of young people gathered at Ozone Disco, a popular nightclub in Quezon City, Philippines. They were there to celebrate their graduation, their achievements, and their dreams. They had no idea that they were about to witness one of the worst tragedies in Philippine history and one of the deadliest nightclub fires in the world. This is the story of the Ozone Disco disaster, 1996. Ozone Disco was a two-story building that had been converted from a former jazz club. It had a dance floor, a bar, a DJ booth, a kitchen, and restrooms on the ground floor, and a VIP lounge, an office, and an emergency exit on the second floor. It had a capacity of only 35 people, according to its occupancy permit, but on that fateful night it was packed with more than 350 patrons and 40 employees. Most of them were high school and college students who had just finished their exams and were looking forward to their graduation ceremonies. They were dressed in their best clothes, ready to have fun and make memories. The party was in full swing with loud music, flashing lights, and dancing crowds. The disco had a special promo that night, offering free entrance and drinks for the first 100 guests. Many of them took advantage of the offer and stayed until late. Some of them were regulars who knew the staff and the owner. Some of them were newcomers who had heard about the disco from their friends. Some of them were couples who wanted to spend some romantic time together. Some of them were solo who wanted to meet new people. They all had different reasons for being there, but they all shared a common feeling of excitement and joy. At around 11:35 p.m. something went wrong. A spark flew from the ceiling near the DJ booth and ignited a flammable acoustic foam. The fire quickly spread across the roof, creating a thick smoke that filled the air. Some of the guests noticed the fire and tried to alert others. Some of them thought it was part of the show and ignored it. Some of them didn't see it at all and continued to party. The DJ tried to announce the fire, but his microphone failed. The staff tried to put out the fire, but their extinguishers were empty. The fire alarm and the sprinklers didn't work. The power went out, plunging the disco into darkness. Panic ensued. People started to scream and run, trying to find a way out, but there was only one exit, a narrow door that opened inward, located at the end of a long corridor. The door was locked by the security guards, who thought there was a riot. The door was also blocked by a new building next door, which had been constructed without a permit. The door was soon jammed by a pile of bodies who were crushed and suffocated by the stampede. The fire consumed the oxygen, creating a vacuum that sucked in more air and flames. The temperature rose to over 1,000 degrees Celsius, burning everything and everyone in its path. The fire was reported to the authorities by a nearby resident who saw the smoke and the flames. The first responders arrived at the scene within minutes, but they faced many difficulties. They had to break through the metal gate and the glass windows to enter the building. They had to use axes and crowbars to pry open the exit door and the windows. They had to deal with the intense heat, the smoke, and the lack of visibility. They had to cope with the horrific sight of charred bodies, melted flesh, and twisted metal. They had to work fast, knowing that every second counted. The rescue operation lasted for several hours, involving firefighters, police officers, paramedics, and volunteers. They managed to save 95 people who were rushed to nearby hospitals. Some of them had minor injuries, such as cuts, bruises, and smoke inhalation. Some of them had serious injuries, such as fractures, burns, and internal bleeding. Some of them had life-threatening injuries, such as respiratory failure, organ damage, and cardiac arrest. Some of them didn't make it and died on the way or at the hospital. Some of them survived, but were scarred for life, physically and emotionally. The Ozone Disco disaster 1996 claimed the lives of 162 people, making it the worst fire in Philippine history and one of the deadliest nightclub fires in the world. It shocked the nation and the world and raised many questions and issues. How did the fire start? Who was responsible? What could have been done to prevent it? What could be done to avoid it in the future? The answers were not easy nor clear. The investigation revealed that the fire was caused by an electrical short circuit, which ignited the flammable materials in the disco. The investigation also revealed that the disco had violated many safety regulations, such as having an inadequate fire exit, a faulty fire alarm, a defective sprinkler system, an expired occupancy permit, and an overcrowded capacity. The investigation also revealed that the disco had been operating without a business license and had been evading taxes. The investigation also revealed that the disco had been protected by corrupt officials who had ignored or accepted bribes to overlook its violations. The prosecution charged 6 people with criminal negligence, resulting in multiple homicide and multiple serious injuries. They were the owner, the manager, the treasurer, the engineer, the architect, and the fire safety inspector of the disco. They were tried in court and found guilty. They were sentenced to 4 years in prison and ordered to pay damages to the victims and their families. However, they appealed their conviction and were released on bail. They never served their full sentence, and some of them even left the country. The tragedy sparked a public outcry and a demand for justice and reform. It led to the creation of new laws and policies, such as the Fire Code of the Philippines, the National Building Code, and the Fire Safety Enforcement Manual. It led to the improvement of fire prevention and protection measures, such as fire exits, fire alarms, sprinklers, extinguishers, and drills. It led to the increase of fire awareness and education among the public and the authorities. It led to the closure of many establishments that failed to comply with the fire standards and the prosecution of many officials who failed to enforce them. The tragedy also left a lasting impact on the survivors and the families of the victims. It left them with physical scars, such as burns, amputations, and disabilities. It left them with psychological scars, such as trauma, depression, and guilt. It left them with financial burdens, such as medical bills, funeral costs, and lost income. It left them with emotional wounds, such as grief, anger, and regret. It left them with unanswered questions, such as why, how, and what if. The tragedy also left a legacy of courage and compassion. It inspired many stories of heroism and sacrifice, such as those who helped others escape, those who shielded others from the fire, and those who gave up their lives for their loved ones. It inspired many acts of kindness and generosity, such as those who donated blood, money, and goods, those who offered prayers, support, and comfort, and those who honored the memory and the spirit of the victims. The Ozone Disco disaster. 1996 was a tragedy that could have been prevented, but it was also a tragedy that could not be forgotten. It was a tragedy that taught us many lessons, but it was also a tragedy that tested our faith. It was a tragedy that took away many lives, but it was also a tragedy that gave us many reasons to live.